Okay, everyone. So we are back with the first of our final virtual sessions. John Gunnison from Shipstead was hoping to be with us. Unfortunately, things happen. We all know the world we live in. So he has graciously agreed to do this virtually with us. And we also have Christina Barthena with us from Redsift. So we have a fabulous, massive media company and an incredible organization that really understands email security. You're going to love this. I beg people to do presentations without slides because the content tends to be so much greater. And I just found out we have no slides for this presentation. So I'm really looking forward to this content. I'm going to stop wasting everyone's time. I'm going to take myself out and leave it to Christina and John to introduce themselves properly. And I really hope you enjoyed this session.
Thank you, Andrew. Thanks. Hi, John. How are you? And hi, everybody attending this session today. So myself, as Andrew introduced me, I'm a customer success manager at Redsift. I take care of all of our existing customers. And today I have the pleasure of sharing this stage with one of our dearest customers in Redsift. They have been long with us. And we're going to explain the journey that we have had together when it comes to implementing DMARC and BIMI. So thank you very much, John, for joining us today. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm sad that I couldn't be there in person, but at least I get to share this with you here now.
Yeah, no, we are all happy that we could find another way of having this conversation and enriching everybody who will have the opportunity to listen after. So thank you for being here, even if it's virtually, it's perfect. So for all those that doesn't know you yet, let me ask you, who is Shipstead and what is your mission in the market today?
So Shipstead is a family of digital brands with a mission to empower people in their daily lives. We do this providing leading online marketplaces, building world-class media houses, and helping great companies scale. Our sites combined get over 1 billion visits per month. And obviously, email is a massive, massive part of the way we do business.
Yep. So how large are you and which countries do you operate in mainly? To give a bit of knowledge as well to the audience.
So primarily Shipstead operates in the Nordics.
Mm-hmm.
So we have Norway, Sweden, Finland, Denmark. But we also have some companies that are expanding beyond those borders into Southern Europe and beyond. We have about 60 brands and just over 6,000 employees.
Mm-hmm.
And we are currently running, I think, about 350 different email domains for the various brands and services that we have.
Yeah, this is amazing. This is amazing. You are one of the biggest senders in Europe, probably. So, question for the audience as well, and to give a little bit more of detail. What is your role in Shipstead? What do you do, and what are you in charge of?
So, my title is Service Manager for the Global Collaboration Team. And we belong to the central IT services or the department that provides central IT services for all the Shipstead companies. So my team is responsible for all communication and collaboration tools used in Shipstead, which includes email and email security.
Of course, yeah, and so email is, as you were saying, right? You send a lot of email. Email is very important for you. So can you share a bit more of what type of email and how does it work email inside of Shipstead, right? And what are you managing?
So I think we may hit about 3 billion emails per year this year. That's roughly our sending volume. And the types of emails, they are, we have everything. We have marketing emails, transactional emails, we have sales, subscription, and pretty much any other form of emails that you have, both internal and external. Shipstead owns news media, distribution, marketplaces, fintech companies, amongst others. So you can imagine the emails that are being sent, they are as varied as the companies in the portfolio.
Yeah. And you manage all of them. So obviously a lot of teams in the company send emails, right? And they use email services to send emails through your domains. But who is supervising that those domains are, well treated and well taken care of?
So the services that are sending on behalf of Schibsted and the various brands, they are traditionally being handled by the various teams within either departments or the brands themselves. So you have developers that are doing the transactional stuff. You have marketeers who are running the marketing stuff, HR and finance doing that. So for Schibsted, when it comes to the actual services, there's no central management. However, for the deliverability and the security part, that is managed by myself and my team.
Yeah, that makes sense. And yeah, as you were saying, many teams involved. They have their own tools. They use those tools to send emails, right? So a lot of people using those domains. Those domains have a brand reputation, and so after so many years, right? Wasn't it concerning that you had a lot of people sending emails through the same domains? Wasn't it concerning that maybe your brand could be a little bit, you didn't have things under total control?
So originally, and this is what's interesting when you start like a DMARC journey like this, right? Originally, we were trying to respond to a very specific type of threat, which was spear phishing, and our sort of C-level people being targeted for scams, right? But once you actually start to look into what's happening with your domains, then you start to see that there is a high risk of reputational damage because your domain is being spoofed. There are actors that are sending emails pretending to basically to be from our company. And once we started seeing that, we sort of thought, well, there is no other way to combat this except implementing DMARC across all of our mail domains, basically.
Yeah. So basically, brand reputation and the impersonation that you could suffer on all your brands was what was leading to DMARC, right? Can you tell us a little bit more and maybe just summarize a little bit what were the business drivers and how the business decided that DMARC was a must for Schibsted?
So originally, the issue was at some point when the phishing attacks started to escalate to such a degree where this was starting to become a serious sort of problem for senior management. The security team in Schibsted did a deep dive into what was really happening and what was the way to actually do something about this. And they decided that both the reputational risk, financial risk, and prevention rather than trying to fix things afterwards was the main reasons to actually get this off the ground.
Yeah. So was it how long it took the decision process to internally in Schibsted? So you started to see things, discuss things till the decision was made to go for DMARC implementation.
So this project had been tried a couple of times before I came in, and it wasn't really until we started working with on DMARC where we finally had the tool to be able to visualize the problem that we had. And basically understand the scope of the project and what was needed in order to complete it. And that's once we had that, the decision was actually rather quick to implement it from being an advisory to a policy. It probably took a couple of months, and then the project itself took a little bit longer, but the decision was quite quick once we could show people how big the issue was.
Yeah, and to show people, you always need a good visibility on how, what is happening on your domain. So that's where we kind of started, our partnership together there. So trying to avoid impersonation, trying to avoid brand abuse for your brands. So how was this project? Like, now the decision is taken. So how was this project implemented across all Schibsted?
So the first thing we did, we had to basically look at all of our email domains. We added all of them onto the OnDemand platform. We started to get the reports. From the reports, we were able to analyze what are the services that are sending on them, and that's sort of how we managed the implementation from our team. It was still a challenge, as I said earlier. The fact that we have so many different departments, so many different people that were responsible for the services, that was the thing that took us the most time for implementation. Once we were able to show people visually that there was a service, there was a problem with the service, this is how you fix it, and the results of what happened once you had actually rectified the sending issue, the implementation was actually quite quick.
Okay. Yeah, there was a lot to do, but in terms of time, it was not taking as much as you expected, probably. Following on the implementation, what made this or what led to have a successful implementation, right? So what are the key points that you could that others could take away from this example? Like what made the project successful?
So before we get there, the biggest thing the biggest hurdle we had to overcome was business impact. Our stakeholders were obviously quite concerned that once we started implementing DMARC, there would be business impact where emails would get lost, orders, order confirmations, delivery notes, etc., etc. So once we sort of were able to alleviate those concerns, and we did that very successfully by being able to show them in a web page with the OnDemand platform. This is what's happening now. This is how you fix it. And once that was done, we sort of we were able to get the ball very, very quickly rolling. But I would say the biggest winner for us was dynamic DMARC and dynamic DKIM. Once we were able to have this implemented in our OnDemand platform, that changed everything for us. It meant that we, as a team who had the expertise to do this centrally, we took most of the work away from those who otherwise would have had to, or we otherwise would have had to rely on for a successful implementation.
Yeah. So you simplified basically the work for the different teams using dynamic.
And also we did have we were able to, where we did not have the expertise, we had engineers from Redshift who have very good knowledge of how to implement these things. And they were able to come in and very quickly analyze what is the issue, how do you solve it, and from there we were able to scale this up really, really quickly.
Yeah. So thank you for mentioning this. It's a big part of our team, and we always make sure that of course our customers get access to the dedicated engineer they have on these projects, and that the knowledge is spread also to the other side of the partnership with our customers. So thank you for mentioning that, John. So now that we have gone through the key parts of the successful implementation, and we have mentioned what made a difference in this journey for you and Schibsted, is there anything that you would do different as well? Because we can always look behind and see the good, but would you, if you had to do it again, would you do something different in a different way?
So if I had a time machine, I probably would have waited to start the project until we had dynamic DMARC in place.
Yeah.
That's purely from a operational point of view.
Mhm.
I think also in terms of the complexity of the project in Schibsted, we probably would have benefited from having all the stakeholders on board before we started.
Yeah.
We were sometimes, I like to use the analogy, we were sometimes flying the plane and building it at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're not the first that says that dynamic dimmer has been a game changer for in a big implementation and across a big company like yours. So yeah, thank you for saying that as well, and thank you for being able to look behind and see things, in a way that define what would we do better next. It's always super constructive. So all this happened around 2017. It's 2022. We're still speaking. We're still sharing a lot of things and projects in between us. So, what made you stay with us all this time, if I can ask?
So we started with you in 2017.
Yeah.
My project started at the end of 2020.
Yes. Yeah.
And we completed this. It was supposed to be a 2-year project. We completed it, I think, in a year and a half. Well,
Amazing.
For us, it's quite simple. We've had very good working relationship with the company. We have had. I think the expertise that we get great help. We have a good relationship. We have built very good trust with the whole organization. And from a technology point of view, and this is probably the biggest driver for us, having some tool like OnDemark means that I can run 350 different mail domains with all the different services, and I can do this with a team of 4.
Yeah.
Which means that I have I need a lot less people to handle a lot more work, because a lot of it is simplified by the platform that we have, right? Apart from that, we obviously, and we're going to discuss a little bit about BIMI later on.
Yes.
But even there, when we started to talk about BIMI, before BIMI actually came out, you were the only partner that had any form of information or were able to sort of give us kind of a roadmap of what we needed to do in order to get it implemented, right?
Yeah.
So for us, it's been a very successful partnership, and we're very happy.
Thank you very much, John. Thank you. Those are very, very kind words. And yeah, and that's the thing, right? So making this partnership last and building more projects together, it's all what we want with our customers. That's our goal. So we have gone through all the implementation of OnDemark. We have explained it. What was the background of Schibsted before? How is Schibsted now when it uses OnDemark? And now, as you mentioned, let's go briefly through the BIMI journey, right? Because we started talking about BIMI before even BIMI was available. And you were one of the first clients of us that decided to go through this journey. So I would like to ask you, what led Schibsted to BIMI?
So BIMI was kind of a natural last step on the journey to sort of verify Schibsted as a trusted sender of emails to our many, many millions of users, right? And for us, it kind of is a validation of sorts that we take our email security and brand reputation very seriously. We operate on trust with payments and user account solutions. Having a verified logo, or by having a verified logo, it's invaluable to us. We have, like I said earlier, when people are using Schibsted account, when they are paying for Schibsted services, all of this helps build trust of us as a trusted company. So this was the reason why we wanted to do this. And now that we have it in place for our primary domain, we can see that a lot of our other brands have sort of started to want to, or they've started their own journey towards BIMI.
Yeah, yeah, this is amazing, and that's why it's BIMI in the market, basically to reward those companies that have been protecting their domains and have been providing security to all their subscribers and users, so they get this reward, this cherry on the pie, how I call it, right? About being able to display the logo next to any communication, which is amazing, and it's very powerful when it comes to brand reputation. So that's perfect. Yeah. So how was the journey like at the beginning? As I said, you were one of the first, right? So it comes with the good and sometimes with the not so good. But how was it for you?
So it was quite complex. I have to be honest. There was a lot of conflicting information at the start. How to get the VMC, and the way it started in the beginning is you needed to get a notary to verify who we are, and that may work outside of Scandinavia, but it's a very, very difficult thing to get in place here in Norway and Sweden, at least.
Yeah.
And when I say difficult, it actually proved impossible for us in the end, right? So that was quite an eye opener, but it was a challenge, and we accepted it, and we finally overcame it, right?
Yeah, I agree with you. Like the notary piece, as this process of getting BIMI certified at the beginning was launched, it was like quite complex when for some parts of Europe to get a notary to certify everything. Yeah, so as everything that is evolves, this process has evolved as well. So now we get to verify everything online, which is way better and way faster for all of us. So yeah, I have to share thoughts with you in this. But if I can ask also, what have you learned? So besides not being there the first sometimes, right? What have you learned? How would you put this in words?
From the BIMI perspective, well, actually, I would say what have I learned from the BIMI process is, first of all, get somebody who like find a partner, find somebody like yourselves or Entrust or DigiCert, or someone who actually know what they're doing. Talk to them through or discuss the process with them. Get the correct information that you are eligible, that you and sort of get the help you need. It may seem very daunting, but there's plenty of experts out there that can actually help you to understand where you are on the journey and at least help you get the last steps. I think that from and I'm allowed to say this since I was the one that actually got this implemented in Schibsted. I think it's really cool to see our logo when people receive email from us. So that's what I've learned. And it's quite clear that the brand reputation has improved. People are seeing now there's very little spoofing. The spamming obviously is something that you're always going to have to a certain degree, but the trust and people like it. It's genuinely very well received within Schibsted and without or outside.
Yeah, I fully agree. I fully agree to all of this. So, so from here, what are we looking forward in the future from where we are?
The future for me is we have BIMI implemented on all our brands. I think that would represent a very, 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 very good milestone for us. And I know it's going to be not every brand is at the same place in their journey towards BIMI, and that's what makes it very interesting. But
yes,
we have partners that can help us or help them on their journey. So I'm hoping that maybe next year I'll be joining you with an update on all of our brands having at some point getting BIMI.
with a bunch of logos behind us.
With
That
a
would
bunch
be,
of logos, yeah.
yeah, that would be ideal. That would be ideal. I'm looking forward for it. Yeah. So yeah, that's everything. Thank you so a lot for sharing your journey through from the beginning of Ondimer till today, having BIMI already implemented on a couple of your domains, and looking forward to implementing this on the rest. It was very, very nice to have you today here, even
you
if it
very
was
much.
virtual. As I said, it's my pleasure to share a journey with one of my dearest customers, for anyone that is interested. And yeah, thank you for making it possible.
Thank you so much for having me, and
you both so
enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you.
You pulled out all the stops, and I know Christina is missing lunch to do this, so I'm
Yeah.
not going to take up too much more time other than say thank you. You both have an open invitation to come to a future event, whether you want to do it
Thank you.
virtually or in person. I would obviously much prefer if you did it in person, because I would love to shake both of your hands.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you so much.
Let's wrap this one up. It's a fantastic session, really gives people an inside track on what it's like to really implement BIMI and get BMC and everything in place. And it was refreshing again to hear the pains as well as the good points. So I really appreciate the fact that you gave a truly open presentation that really has some meaningful information there. So really grateful for this. And anyone that's watching this, it will be made available to the public for anyone to watch. So if you've got special access because you're a delegate, then keep an eye out in your inbox if you're wanting to share it, because we will be sharing it publicly with everyone. So once again, my heartfelt thanks to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew.
Christina running off for drinks, and John, have a drink and think of us.
Exactly.
Thank you
Think
so
of
much.
us.
Have a
Thank
good
you very
one.
much. Have a good
Bye-bye.
one. Bye bye. Take care. Bye. Thank you, John.